Hey everybody, welcome to the Wellness Perspective on Quarantine Management presentation. My name is Mr. Danny. I'm a school counselor at the Manassas Campus for APTS. I'm very active in the marching band world with the Color Guard and Winter Guard, if you know what that is. I love video games, and I also love pop culture. So if you're like in the theater, if you're into video games, if you're into TV shows, you'll see lots of like gifs and things like pop up throughout the presentation just to make it more fun. How we generated the idea of having this type of presentation. So I was reading an article by a psychologist who was working during the first week schools were shut down. So schools closed on March 13th, and then the following week, she was meeting with her 31 patients, and they were only talking about COVID-19 and how to cope. So she created a list of 25 coping strategies to use to promote self-care during this time. We're not going to go over all 25, don't worry. And I do not have the source, but I swear I did not come up with this on my own. But if you want me to, I will take credit for it, but that's plagiarism, so I don't recommend it most times. Stick to a routine. Go to sleep and wake up at a reasonable time. Write a schedule that is varied and includes times for work as well as times for self-care. That's a quote directly from the article. And the schedule does not have to be super nitpicky, minute by minute. It could just be like a checklist in order of sequence, such as wake up, brush teeth, eat breakfast, sit on couch, do my schoolwork, back to couch, back to video games. Simple schedules like that work as well. A checklist will suffice. But why do we keep a routine? It helps time move faster, keeps the mind focused, and it keeps the mind thinking and productive. Next is get dressed for the social life you want, not what you have. The article says get showered and dressed in comfortable clothes, wash your face, brush your teeth, wear bright colors. So getting dressed is a very psychological process that affects everything you do. It helps sharpen your brain in very early mornings when we're usually picking out clothing. It gets you moving, a little movement, but it takes a little step into to get inside bottom clothing. And it helps you practice decision-making skills. Decision-making is a skill that people take for granted. And being able to make self-confident and assured decisions is something I feel people aren't making a lot of while we're at home. So being very purposeful with your decisions about clothing can drastically change how you feel while you're at home and keeps the skill up for when we're no longer at home. There's also color theory behind this. Red is the color of hunger. A lot of restaurants like to have their employees wear red because apparently it makes you eat more. It's also the color for inspiration and health. Yellow is the color for happiness. It's also mellow, calming, neutral without it being white. Green is the color for health. It's also the color for money, but money is not an emotion. And blue is thinking and emotions. Purple is the color for emotions and royalty, which is also not an emotion, but that's a fun fact. If you feel like you need a little pick-me-up, wear some yellow. If you feel like you need some inspiration in life, throw on some red. These little decisions practice decision making and keeps life more fun. Get fresh air every day. The article recommends 30 minutes a day. I talked to my doctor about this and my doctor said 10 minutes is fine. So if you don't like the outdoors like I do, 10 minutes is fine. Getting fresh air refreshes the body and it helps the oxygen flow throughout. Activities can include taking a walk, gardening, or just sitting outside. If you're not comfortable with actually going outside, sitting next to an open window and breathing in the fresh air counts too. The point is you just want the fresh air inside your lungs and release the stale air from the indoors. I don't like going outside. So this is an example of me going outside. I just brought my laptop, did some gameplay for like 30 minutes, and boom, I went back inside. Find some time to move each day. The article recommends if you're not going outside, you can watch YouTube videos. There's plenty of free movement style videos at home. Like there's yoga online, there's a how to stretch a split video if you want to be flexible, have a dance party. People recommend doing this while cooking. There's not much else to do while you're cooking, so might as well just blast some music and just move around and stretch. The best time to stretch is after a hot shower when your muscles are warmed up and relaxed and you can actually stretch further. Reaching out to others. Try to reach out and communicate with people via the many apps that exist within this world. Speaking to others does not only help you, but it helps them. Even if you're doing fine, someone you may be reaching out to might not be doing as good as you are. All emotions are heightened during this time. So people are feeling a lot of different things. And again, just because you're doing cool doesn't mean that the person you reach out to didn't need to talk to someone in that moment. People are very proud these days and they don't want to admit that they need help, so don't make a mask. Just do it. And do not forget to include other family members or housemates, depending on who you live with. Ensure your loved ones are also seeking others to interact with. There's plenty of things you can do. Plenty of people, even your neighbors, just waving outside a window. For example, my friend started a virtual book club. So every month, everyone reads a book and then they go online and they just comment about it. They might do Zoom calls. Sometimes it's just a Facebook post and everyone just comments on Facebook. You could do Instagram. You could do whatever app you want. Stay hydrated and eat well. We all know what that means. Drink lots of water, eat healthy foods, and just keep in mind, there's many different types of food pyramids in the world. Like every country has their own version. So if you're not really vibing with one, check out another countries. It's something to learn. And it's really interesting to see how different countries interpret nutrition because it's a lot of the same information, but it's amazing how the slightest perspective shift can change the world, which is also what counseling is. Develop a self-care toolkit. Always having a list of 5 coping skills, self-regulation strategies, coping strategies are all the same thing that you can do at any moment in time. This will make sure that you'll be able to help regulate yourself no matter what stresses you might be facing. It could be a big thing like a tree falling down in the yard somewhere and now you have to go deal with that. Or it could be like a little thing like, oh, my pen's not working and now I'm annoyed. Examples of coping skills that you can use is deep breaths, counting, positive thoughts, listening to music, quietly humming. You don't want to hum too loud to disturb other people, and use a squish ball I have right here. Find your own retreat space. Space is a premium, particularly with city living. It is important that people think through their own separate space for work and for relaxation. APTS students come from all over the state of Virginia, and sometimes even beyond. So some of us live in cities, some of us lives in big wooded areas. Having your own space is very important. These spaces do not always need to be a literal room or area. There's a thing called sensory deprivation. If you could just find a spot where you could just lay down and relax, put in some music, close your eyes, hang out there, let the music overflow you, don't look at anything else, that is known to have the same effect as just finding your own room. Some examples: bathtubs. Taking a bath is a great way to get some retreat space time, and bedrooms, even closets. If you have a walk-in closet, I have known people that just take a moment in their closet to just relax and like meditate. Limit COVID convo. Talking about a topic is good. Excessive talking leads to fixation or gossip or sensationalism. Talking about it helps us share knowledge, but just make sure it's not too much, because that's how rumors, inaccurate information happens, a lot of things. Find something you can control. Control it with all you can in a healthy way. Other humans are not healthy to fully control, so do not try to control your parents or your siblings, kids. There are other things you can control. Also, if you saw Frozen 2, controlling what you can when things feel out of control was a big theme in the movie, and that was something Olaf was talking about. If you don't remember, go watch it again. Find a long-term project. Now is when we have time to do extra things. Examples are play that 15-hour-long game of Risk and Monopoly. I actually did that Saturday. Get fitness intensive. Start working on the fitness goals you've always wanted. Start doing puzzles. You can paint. You can play the video games. That's what I'm doing. Reading backlog. Catch up. Start writing again. There's many different types of long-term projects you can start. And just because you start it does not mean you have to finish it. Some people, like me, I like finishing video games, but you don't have to. You'll go back to it when you have time. Find an expressive art. The article suggests sculpting, drawing, dancing, music, singing, playing an instrument, but I think cooking is a great one. It's an untapped form of communication that people tend to neglect. Expressing yourself using arts. There was a quote that said, when the world had to go inside and hide for a little bit, people turned to the arts, which is kind of true. We went to video games, we went to TV, movies, music, books, all expressive forms of art. Reach out to support system. The whole article says that therapists, teachers, and students-related services will reach out to help other people. That's like staff in school, and quite literally me. I'm part of it. But what can a support system look like? Family, friends, coworkers, neighbors, previous enemies. People tend to be more open to talking to people right now. So if you have someone that you weren't getting along with and you want to make amends, now's the time. Remind yourself this is temporary. We will get through this and overcome all obstacles. Time is on my side. Also, the phrase only light and healing energy is allowed here. Both of these are phrases I like to use. Time is on my side came about when I was working a job I really didn't like. So I was always just at my shift, doing my work and thinking time is on my side. Things are temporary. This will definitely also end. Tips that APTS students use. This is stuff that, like, while I'm in session, students tell me, because when you're a teacher or any educator, you're always learning as much from your students as they learn from you. Phrases that work for them. time is on my side. And one particular student was like, at least, like, well, at least I don't have to do all the math problems right now, or at least I will get lunch after this. Using the phrase at least before many sentences really, really, really helps put into perspective time is temporary, things will keep going. And being thankful and showing gratitude, those are two different things. Being thankful is a feeling. Showing gratitude is an action. So just because you feel thankful doesn't mean that people know it. When you show gratitude by doing something, that's how people know how you feel thankful. Such as Mother's Day was a couple days ago. If you gave someone like a card, that is showing gratitude. Most of us are not able to sense other people's emotions and read minds. If you can, that's super cool. But that's why we need to show gratitude, to show people that we really do care and appreciate that they're in our lives. And that's all I have for today. Thanks.